Hey girl, hey. I just felt like saying that. Hello everyone. Hope everyone's having a good evening. I am gessoing, and today I'm going to actually make a canvas. Well, I tried to start this yesterday, but apparently it was not in the cards because everything on the planet was going wrong, including a lot to do with some of these pieces that I tried to cut out on my Cricut, which made me almost want to throw the thing out the window, but that's for another story. So in this video, basically, I'm going to do a canvas kind of multimedia, or mixed media. What did I say? Multimedia? I don't know. My brain is not with it, so you're going to hear some weird stuff. So I got my canvas, and I'm going to be putting this piece on here. Not exactly sure how, because there's a lot of things I want to put on this canvas. So I'm thinking that maybe I'm going to put it over here like this, and do it like this, where it's kind of sticking off the side a little bit, because I want to utilize these awesome napkins that I got from, yeah, now I can't think. From, yeah, Ross. It says it right on the package if I would just pay attention. And they've got an Eiffel Tower and a Paris theme, so I just want really the Eiffel Tower to show on here. So I want to put the Eiffel Tower part on this wood piece, and then kind of, you know, I don't know, maybe put some stickles on it or do something funky with it, and then kind of do mixed media stuff along with it. I don't know. I'm like, what do you think I should do? Answer me. Seriously, I'm just kidding. I don't know whether I should do it this way though, or this way, or in the middle. I don't know. Like, I'm so confused. I guess I should have thought about this before I started recording, but you know how it is. Or I can do the Eiffel Tower here and just put stuff here. I honestly don't even know what to do. I'm so confused. I grabbed one so I can basically, maybe I should do this. Maybe I should put that there and say, okay, that looks cool. And then, like, maybe put the bird cage by the bottom of it. And let's say if I did it this way, I have a chandelier I can hang from the top. I don't know if you could see all this. I could very well be completely off camera. I wanted to utilize this. It's the little hands that are like shaped like a heart. I wanted to utilize that. I don't know if I'll do something like that, and then put the bird cage and stuff over here. Or maybe I shouldn't use the wood piece at all and just do it all on the canvas. I don't know. Like, honestly, I am really well, if I did that, then I can use the whole napkin. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do the wood piece. I'll do something separate with that, because I think if I try to add that on, and since my canvas is not, if I had a bigger canvas, which I do, but I don't want to use it for this, I have something else in mind. So maybe I'll do this and put this on there, put the hands like on it in some fashion, and then like put that there, put that there with some flowers, you know, something kind of in this manner. But also in this video, I'm going to show you how I make my sprays, my paint sprays, ink sprays. I'm going to talk about the gesso that I make and the paste that I make, stuff like that. There's probably going to be a couple parts to this video because I'm not really sure how I want it to go exactly. So it's going to take me probably longer than I could put in this video, likely. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to at least get this cut out. What's cool is you get 4 pictures on each napkin, whereas some napkins you only get like 1 picture on the front side, and then a lot of fluff around, you know, like just random pattern or whatever, the corresponding pattern. But this one you actually get 4 pictures out of 1 napkin, which is pretty cool. And these were only $3.99, and they had all kinds there. So go to your local Ross or TJ Maxx because they have the prettiest napkins, and it is definitely worth going there because for $3.99 I got like 50 napkins. It's crazy. And of course you want to take off the layers, which usually there's 3, so you only want the top layer when you're working with decoupaging napkins. I could do it in the center. I could center it. That might be nice. And then I could put my other embellishments over to the sides and such. Maybe I'll use the hands on that other project. I think I'll do that because this is kind of very keeping in the theme of the kind of the Eiffel Tower a little bit, which, you know, who knows, I might end up covering it up. Who knows? I don't know. So yeah, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to, I already gessoed all my wood pieces with my beautiful homemade gesso, which I made a new batch of it today, and I hope you could see what I'm doing because I'm trying to keep everything on camera, and I keep checking because I just want to make sure that things are on camera. So I'm trying to see where everything ends and begins, and I might adjust this just a little bit. Okay, so anyway, my homemade gesso. This is a great gesso because I talk about it a little bit in the very first video I made, which was really cruddy quality because I was using a cruddy camera. But this gesso is made not with, you know, people make homemade gesso with baby powder or baking soda and all that stuff. I actually make it with what is actually used in real live gesso, like store-bought gesso. It's called calcium carbonate. Now, calcium carbonate is basically crushed up Tums, and they use it because it has calcium, and they put it in the feed with animal feed for like at a, you know, on a farm or whatever, to give animals extra calcium. So that's all it is. And when it's white, calcium carbonate is basically an off-white color, but when they make it, and I guess they bleach it or they do something to it to make it like really, really white. And if my bag was around here, I'd show you. Maybe I'll get it in a minute. I have regular calcium carbonate, which is not white, which is the off-white color. I had bought that at first and not realizing that it wasn't white. But it works as gesso too if you just plan on using it for canvases that you're going to cover up with paint anyway, so it's fine. It's gesso. It doesn't matter. But I did buy the white gesso, or the white calcium carbonate, which if you look it up online is actually called marble dust. So if you're looking for the white calcium carbonate, it's called marble dust, and I guess they call it marble dust because they make it white. I don't know, but I read all on this, and I did my research. So anyway, that's what they use. They use marble dust, which is the white calcium carbonate, whatever, in actual gesso. So I bought some, and it's a very fine powder, kind of like baby powder. And you mix your gesso just like you would any other homemade recipe, except instead of putting baking soda or baby powder or whatever, plaster Paris, I guess some people use the calcium carbonate because it works better. It gives you a better tooth to your canvas. It's more genuine to real gesso. So I make my gesso a little bit more opaque. Hold on a second. So I make my gesso a little bit more opaque than most people make their gesso, or, you know, it comes pretty opaque from certain brands. But I mean, gesso will never be actually opaque because it's got glue in it, which dries clear, which makes it kind of opaque-y. It's not really ever going to be like bright white paint. but I make it so that it's got extra paint in it, so that it's a little bit more white when it comes out, because this way I can always water it down as I need to. If I want it to be opaque, I can make it opaque, but I tend to like it to be the or if I want it to be translucent, I can make it more translucent. But I like it more on the opaque side for my canvases and such, and for like pieces like this. I like making it opaque. So that's about my gesso. I'm also going to be using my homemade modeling paste, which I have 3 different kinds that I like to use. I also use the calcium carbonate or marble dust for this as well. And I have 2 different kinds with the marble dust. And one I make is a thick kind of grunge paste. And this stuff is great for a lot of texture. It's nice and thick. And then I have one that's just a little bit thinner that I like to use, and that's good for stencils, and that's this one here. And this is also done with the marble dust as well. Whoops. And this is just slightly a little bit more runnier. And this is great because it's nice and smooth, so it's good for stencils. And the other one's better for grungy stuff where you don't want it to be perfectly smooth. And then, like everybody else makes homemade, I also use the baby powder version of this because, unlike the gesso, I do like the baby powder version of this. Not as much as the calcium carbonate, but or the marble dust, but I do like this. So I use all 3, depending on what kind of look I'm after, because they each have their own they each have their own benefits. So I like to keep them on hand, so I make them in these little jars. I also sell my homemade gesso in these jars, and I sell my modeling paste. How I make it kind of to however you want it. So if you're interested, let me know about that, because it's way cheaper than buying it in the store. But you can also make it yourself, so you may not want to bother. But if you wanted the marble dust, just look it up online. I bought like a 5-pound bag for less than 20 bucks. And that 5-pound bag will last me probably a lifetime. There's a lot in there, and so it's pretty awesome. So I'm gonna move on and make a spray, because I wanted to show you guys how I make them. There's plenty of videos showing this, but I already have a bottle filled with alcohol, and I would like to make a kind of a seagrass or sea green kind of color, and this one's already called sea glass. So all I do is fill up a bottle. I get them from Target. Target's bottles are the best ones. I leave a little space. I leave like an inch from the top so that I can fit the paint in. And I take and I mix the paint a little bit, and then I stick it in the bottle. And this is great because making your own sprays, I mean, I understand that there's you always see these videos where people are on the YouTube, and they're showing, they work for the company, so they're showing you all these great things you can do with their sprays, which is great, but they're expensive. They really are expensive. So it's just easier to make your own, and they come out, really good. And you can get basically the same effects. Now I may need more paint in this, and I usually like to put a few drops of glycerin as well in my it just seems to help it flow a little better, in my opinion. Let's see, I got some paper here. I'm going to test this out because I probably need some more paint. I probably didn't put enough. Oh, that's nice. I'm going to put a little bit more paint, but it's already a nice color. Alright, mix that back up again. Trying to mix it really well. The one thing that like always gets on my nerves when people show how they do their paint sprays online, they'll add more color to it and then immediately start spraying it like as if they're going to see a difference, because the first couple of sprays are going to be the old, like what you had in there before. So in order to actually see you're upgraded from whatever you added to it, spray a few at times in the garbage can or whatever, or on a scrap paper. That's a little better. Because I want to use this sea green color, and then I also want to make a pale pink. And then I also have another color which is really good, which is this color green. So, and that kind of goes well with that green, so that's kind of cool. So those two are good. Now I'm going to try to make, let's see, I need a bottle. I'm going to try and make some more, and I want a super pale pink. I'm hoping I can get that to show up, because I have like a really pale pink. It's called Peony. I used this in the video that I did last about the tiles, and I want to try this out and see if I can get it to actually pick up, because it will not look white, because that's my fear, is that it's just gonna look white and I'll just add some other pink to it or something, because it's so like light. I mean, it almost, I bet you to you on the camera, I bet you that looks white. I bet it doesn't look pink at all. So let me see. Yeah, to me it barely looks pink at all. It does a little bit, but not enough. So I've got this other kind of pale pink, but it's a little bit better. So we're going to throw some of that in there. And see how that works out for us. But it's fun to sit here and make these. I mean, why spend so much money? Just go get yourself some bottles, use the paint you already have, mix colors, get, you know, alcohol. You can get it in these big bottles at like anywhere. This is 70%. It doesn't matter. You can use 90%, whatever. It doesn't really matter. If you don't have alcohol and you're dying to make some sprays, use water temporarily. You know, I like the alcohol better because it dries faster. I also make my own sprays with ink from the printer. You can buy these on eBay to refill like your ink cartridges, or I have a continual ink system, so I refill the containers that are next to my printer that feed into the printer. So you can buy the whole set of 6 inks. It includes black, 2 different blues, 2 different pinks, a dark and a lighter color, and the what is it, the yellow one, for like $14 or $15. And these will last forever because you just need a few drops of them in a bottle, and bam, you've got color. I mean, put alcohol in and basically, hold on. So basically all you have to do is put some alcohol in a bottle and put, you know, 10 drops of this in. That'll last you 2 years, for, you know, for crying out loud. That's like huge, this bottle. It's, you know, it's about as big as this bottle. And, you know, you got yourself some ink sprays, you know, make your own alcohol inks out of it. Just, you know, don't water it down so much with alcohol. Put less alcohol, more ink, and you'll have alcohol ink. I mean, you could do so many things. It's, you know, ridiculous. It's crazy not to try it. I mean, all these sprays and everything, there's, you know, $5 and $6 and $7, you know, per bottle. Oh, this is better. Now, I want to dust this up a little bit and make it a little dusty. A lot of people don't realize you can do that. You might, I don't know. But the color, if you think of the color of dust or dirt to make like a dirty color, you think of brown. So if you take like a drop or two of brown and put that in pretty much any color, it'll make it dusty. So you'll have like a dusty pink. So if I just take like 2 drops of brown, you might not see it on camera when I spray it on here next to this because it might not pick up the difference. Just shaking it really good. Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake your booty. Okay, let me spray some in the garbage first. Let's see how that came out. Yeah, see? It's dusty now. It's not bright. I don't know if you could see that. I can try to show you. Can you see? Can you see? This is the dusty pink, and that's the bright pink. Or brighter pink. I don't know if you can even see that. I don't even know if I'm holding it in front of the damn camera. But anyway, that's how you do it. Simple as that. You throw some brown in and voila. It makes a totally different color. So, yeah, fun stuff. I'm shaking these up. Okay, so let's move on to some fun stuff. Whoopsie. This is a noisy process. So I'm going to put all my gesso pieces out the way. And I kept my wood pieces out so in case I decide to pick something else. And definitely try to keep your plastic caps on your spray bottles so that the tip, the spray top doesn't get clogged. And if it does get clogged, just take this thing and fill it halfway with alcohol and pull your top off and plop it down in there in the alcohol and let that sit for 10 minutes and it should fix it. It should do the trick. That's just what I do. You could do whatever you want. Okay. So now I'm going to get my Mod Podge, which is actually not Mod Podge. It's just Elmer's glue with water, because when you run out of Mod Podge, there's no point in spending another $7 or $8 when that's all Mod Podge is white glue and water. I make it, you know, like Mod Podge is thick and I kind of like it that thick, so I like to mix like, you know, 2 parts glue, Elmer's glue to 1 part water. Some people like to do it and, you know, split it in half, you know, 1 part of each. But I like to, I don't know why I'm doing the whole canvas. Duh. I only want to do where I'm putting it. But again, I'm still not sure where I'm putting it. I guess I'm going to put it over to the side. I guess. So I guess I'm putting it where I was already Mod Podging. So I think that will be, and it's probably going to wrinkle a little bit because it is a napkin and it's very hard to get straight. And I'm not going to worry about getting straight because I really don't want it to be straight, because then it won't have that kind of cool texture. So it didn't wrinkle too much, but it did wrinkle in spots, and that's fine. It might help if I actually got glue on the canvas where this napkin is going. And then I'm not going to seal over top of it because I want to, well, I guess it doesn't matter if I do or don't. Because I'm probably going to seal, well, I guess I should. I'm imagining just to, because it might rip if I don't. So I'm just going to lightly go over it. Plus it'll help because when I put other colors on, I don't really want to put unless, unless I'm doing it on purpose, but I don't want, colors accidentally getting on it. So this is good to seal it, because then you can just basically wipe off any colors that you accidentally either spray on here or paint. It'll be easier to get it off if you accidentally cover up something you didn't want to cover up. Okay, I'll put that in my water bucket thing. And now I am going to give this a quick dry. Apologize for the noise. Now I got that on there. It's not quite dry all the way. Maybe I'll dry it just a little more. Okay, that's better. Okay, so this is now pretty much dry, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my stencils out, and I'm going to choose a stencil or two or three. And actually I had one down here. I may use these flowers. I may use those. But what I want to do, and I have them in a binder, which is a great way to keep them. If you take those plastic sleeves, not like the pocket letter ones, but the ones that are the same size as that, but they're one big pocket, you could put your stencils in, and it works great for stuff like that. Let's see. I'm trying to find. Well, I guess we can put that one out. I just thought I would videotape me playing with my stencils and my canvas and all that stuff, since I never really do that. I usually don't video myself when I'm making stuff like this, because I feel like it might be boring to some people, which it may, but I figured, well, you know what? If it's boring, they can always just click out and not pay attention to it. How's that? Okay, so I've got a couple different stencils here. Okay, so I have my stencils that I want to use. I'm going to grab something real quick. I keep a basin of water near me, like a shallow, well, a little bit of water in a kind of that thick of a basin, so that when I'm done with my stencils, I don't have to keep running to the bathroom that's next to my office craft room and clean my stencils. This way I can just soak them in there. They're never going to dry out while I'm finishing up doing what I'm doing, and then I can go clean them. So I picked out some stenciling to do, and I've got like this cool little, I don't know what kind of pattern that's called. I don't know what it is. And then I've got like these bricks, and I've got stars, I've got swirlies, and then I've got this, which I haven't used yet, so I'm going to definitely use that. But I'm going to use my modeling paste and do some stenciling over that. Or wait a minute, do I want to do it over this one? No, not this one. This is more of a mask. I don't want to do that one. I'm going to use that for spraying, I think. So I'm going to try to stick it back in the package. It never seems to want to work out. Okay, so I'm just going to do, I think, some of these swirlies, and I'm going to use my modeling paste that I made, the one that I said was really thick, because I want it to look, you know, very textured in spots. So I'm going to give that a quick mix, because you always want to, especially homemade modeling paste, you always want to give it a good little mix before you start using it, just to make sure nothing has settled. Even though this stuff is so thick, I can't picture it settling. And then you always want to use, I see people do this all the time, they take it, like you see how your palette knife is crooked, like it's bent? I don't know if you could see that, but it's bent. You always want to put your modeling paste on this part, on the back of it. You don't want to put it on the front, because you're not going to be able to spread it, because it's going to stop you. And then you're going to end up with a mess. So always take it on the back of your your palette knife, and then you'll get a better, you know, you'll get better coverage that way. It'll be easier to scrape it off and all that good stuff. And then you get texture. So I want to do it in another spot, not so much. I grabbed a big old blob. I want to do some of it on the going over that napkin. And then I want to do some on the sides a little bit, just to kind of even out my canvas. It's always good to make sure you do your sides of your canvas a little bit. Sorry if this is out of frame, I apologize. It's hard to do the canvas on the side. Okay, I'm not going to worry about the bottom or the other side at this time, because I'll end up messing up what I just did, and that would suck. So now that I'm done with that one, I will throw it in my basin, and I'll push it to the bottom, and it will not dry out on me while I do other things. It's always fun. And then I've got this cool, it came on this, like, I guess this is like a Christmas stencil, but it's got that really cool thing and that really cool kind of flourishy thing. So I'm gonna do that, but I think I want to do it coming down. Yeah, coming down over the napkin. I don't know how well I'll be able to get this to work, because I'm gonna have to lay it in the paste that I already just did. So we're just gonna slap that sucker on. Using modeling paste is like one of the most fun things to do. If you have not tried it yet, I like strongly suggest that even if you just make it with your baby powder, that you make some modeling paste and have at it. I mean, just have a ball because it's so much fun. Okay, so that looks really cool. I might do something along the edge here. Let's see, I'm going to put that in the thing. I might take some of the brick and like do some of that just like randomly. Trying not to make a mess, and I just did. But that's okay because it's mixed media. It does not have to be perfect by any means. In fact, the messier, the better. So this is probably not going to look much like brick because I moved the stencil. Oh yeah, it does. It's a good. And I'm going to put that one in my basin. And so those can soak for a few minutes. I try to clean off my palette knife and clean up the mess I made. And that's perfect. Alright, and then you can use a baby wipe to basically just clean off the rest, which actually I shouldn't have done that because there was some more I wanted to do. Duh. That's okay. And then I want to take where the napkin kind of meets the canvas. I don't want it to look so square, so I'm going to take a little modeling paste and kind of go around that little edge where I didn't get stenciling on and just kind of put a very thin layer of modeling paste kind of on the edge just to give it a kind of a finished look, so it looks like it's, you know, into the canvas and it was meant to be there, kind of. So it looks kind of all uniform, like it's, I don't know, like it's painted on the canvas rather than a napkin. That's the goal anyway, and this, I could very well screw this up because I'm trying not to get too much of the Eiffel Tower, but a little bit of it. And I just can't, I keep grabbing big globs and they fall as I bring it over. Nice job. And then I'll do on the side over here. That's why I didn't do the stenciling on this side, because I knew I was going to be modeling pasting it over here, just slopping it on. Just slopping it on. But this stuff is so much fun to play with. I mean, depending on how thick you make it, it's, you know, it might take a little while to dry. But it's so much fun. I love playing with this stuff. And then I'll just slap some on this side to give it some textures. It's great for texture. It works on anything. You could do it on cardstock. You can do it on, you know, canvas, obviously. You could do it on a piece of fabric. I mean, obviously it's not going to be a piece of fabric you're going to wear, but like if it's something you're going to put on a canvas, or if it's already on the canvas or on a piece of wood. If it's on a piece of wood or something that you put the fabric on or something like that, you can do the modeling paste over that. You can do it on so many different surfaces, on plastic, on glass. You can do like a really cool stencil on a piece of glass. That would be awesome. There's just, possibilities are absolutely endless. It's crazy. Crazy town. So while this dries, I'm going to stop videoing to let this dry. So it might actually be tomorrow when I get back to it, because I don't know how long it's going to take to dry. Hopefully maybe an hour or two, and I will be back. Bye. Okay, so I let the modeling paste or texture paste dry, and then I put some pieces on kind of as a layout to see kind of how I want things to go. Things could change, and I've got more things to put on it, like some metal pieces, so who knows. But this is kind of what I have laid out, and now from here I'm just going to kind of move everything and keep them sort of together in a sense. I don't want to get them mixed up with the other things, because now I want to do some painting, spraying, stuff like that. So of course I want to do that on here a bit before I put things on, I think. I do want to put something over this, so I'm going to take a piece of paper, or a couple pieces of paper, and cut a little mask to go over this, so that I don't get it completely, just this whole edge, I guess, and then I'll kind of put the paint in myself on that so that I don't mess it up. And then what I'm going to do is mix my paint back up. I'm going to spray it on here really quick, because I knew that was the wrong damn color. I have the green in the pink bottle and the pink in the blue bottle. Okay, and that's basically like the same exact color that's there. So I want to do pink and the green, and then I had like now I can't remember which one was and this color green. So I kind of want to do those two colors of green. And the pink, or maybe, let's see, I can do that as well. That's too bright, I think. But anywho, I'm going to start with some of the pink, which is in the blue bottle. And I'm just going to, let me get a paper towel, because I'm going to be doing some blotting and such. This stuff kind of makes a mess when I spray it. Now I'll do some blotting. I want to get a base of it down first before I keep adding. And I'm going to add a little bit of this green here. Blotting. Oh, that looks cool. That came out cool. Now I'm going to add another coat to it. I'm going to dry this a little bit, and then I'll be able to kind of, it'll adhere a little better because it's got a coat on it. Because it's got alcohol in it, it's dry already. That's how fast that stuff dries. So I'm going to go back in with the pink, which likes to splatter, so I'm going to put my hand there. It's getting all over everything behind me, so I apologize, my hand, for being there. Okay, now we're going to actually dry that on a bit. Go back with the two green colors. It's all about layering it on so that you get the look that you want.